Hi friends, Juan the Yarn Addict here, bringing you a tutorial for the 3L's shawl. So the 3L shawl has a 5-row starter, which can be seen right here. And then beyond that, there is an 8-row repeat sequence, which can be shown right here. Now this 8-row repeat sequence continues on for the duration of the shawl. As you can see here, it is divided with these ridges. I'm going to go in the diagonal so you can see that a little better. Okay, so that is what that is looking like. I went a little longer than 48 inches because I am 6.5 feet tall. So at any rate, you don't have to go that far out. Just continue doing the 8-row repeat sequence until you have your desired length. Now, I used 2.5 skeins of Red Heart Super Saver Ombre in their colorway Hickory for a total of 1,100 yards used. Now, for the purposes of this tutorial, I will be using Red Heart Super Saver Ombre, but in the colorway Coral. And for the hook, I used a 6.5mm crochet hook because I wanted the drape. But by all means, you don't necessarily have to use the 6.5. You can actually use the recommended hook size for this yarn if you're using this yarn, which is a 5.5mm crochet hook. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get this tutorial started. Okay friends, to get started, what we need to do is create a slip knot on our hook. However you do this is absolutely fine. This is how I do it. And so from here, what we want to do is chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. From here, we're going to go into the very first chain, draw up a loop, and slip to close. And you're going to gently pull on your working yarn, and you will notice a circle forming. So we're going to work our stitches out of this circle. But first, we're going to chain 2. The chain 2 does not count as a stitch. It just elevates us to the very first row here. So in this circle, make sure we hold on to our tail by pressing it against our chain. Okay, so we're going to yarn over and go into our circle and do a double crochet twice. So 2 double crochets, just like that. From here, we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to go back into our circle with 2 more double crochets. 1 and 2, just like that. We're going to repeat that one more time. We're going to chain 2 and then go back into our circle with 2 more double crochets. Just like that. I'm going to put that down so we can take a better look at everything. And so that is the end of the first row. To continue on from here, what we want to do is chain 2 and turn our work. Now if you notice, we have 2 stitches, chain 2, 2 stitches, chain 2, 2 stitches, and now we are going to increase from 2 stitches to 4 stitches. So to do that, what we're going to do is go into this very first stitch with 2 double crochets. Yarn over, go in and do a double. Let's do that one more time. So it's 2 double crochets. And then in this next stitch right here, we're going to do 1 double crochet. So far we have 3 stitches. Now we're going to go into the chain space and do a double crochet. And there we have our 4 stitches for the beginning of row 2. From here, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to go back into the chain space with a double crochet. After that, we're going to give each one of these stitches just 1 double crochet. Just like that. And then finally, what we do on this side has to happen on this side. So we're going to go into the chain space and do 1 double crochet. And for this particular side, we have 4 stitches. From here, we're going to chain 2. And we're going to go back into the chain space here with a double crochet. And now for the next stitch, we're going to do just 1 double crochet. And in the last stitch of the row, we're going to do 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Let me just make a bunny ear here, lay this down so we can take a look at what we're looking at. Okay, so we have 3 sides. Each side has 4 stitches, and that is the end of row number 2. Okay, so to move on from here, what we want to do is chain 2 and turn our work. Now we are going to increase from 4 stitches to 6 stitches for each side. So we're going to yarn over and go into the first stitch with 2 doubles. 1 and 2. From here, each one of these stitches will receive 1 double crochet each. It's 1, 2, and 3. And then in the chain space, we will have 1 double crochet, chain 2, and we're going to go back into the chain space with a double crochet. From here, each one of these 4 stitches will receive a double crochet. So let's go ahead and do those. Okay, so now that we have 4 stitches on top of the 4 stitches, we're going to go into this chain space here and do 1 double crochet, chain 2, and then we're going to go back into this chain space with 1 more double crochet, just like that. From here, we're going to insert 1 double crochet in every stitch except for the last stitch. That last stitch will receive 2 double crochets. So let's go ahead and do that. So from here, we're going to go right into this first stitch, double. We're going to go next door and do another double here. We're going to do another double. And then here we are at the last stitch. So with the last stitch here, we're going to insert 2 double crochets. There's 1 and there's 2. Let me lay that down. And this is what it looks like after 3 rows. And as you can see, at the beginning and at the end of every row so far, we used 2 stitches. Okay? So we went from 2 to 4 to 6. So that concludes row number 3. To move on from here, what we want to do is chain 2 and turn our work. Let me grab some yarn. Okay. So from here, as I just mentioned, this is the first stitch. It will receive 2 stitches. So we are going to increase from 6 stitches to 8 stitches. So this first one will receive 2 doubles, 1 and 2. And now every stitch of this side will receive 1 double crochet, 1 upstairs neighbor per stitch. So double crochet. We're going to continue going down, giving each one of these stitches an upstairs neighbor. If I'm going too fast, please slow me down. Okay, so we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 stitches so far. And now for our 8th stitch, we're going to go into the chain space right here with a double crochet. Let me just redo that one. There we go. And now we're going to chain 2, and we're going to go back into the chain space with another double crochet. And now every stitch of the side will receive a stitch. It will receive an upstairs neighbor. So we're going to jump right into the stitch right here, double crochet. And we're going to go all the way across with 1 stitch for each one of the stitches from the row before it. And so from here, we're going to go into the chain space right here with a double crochet, chain 2, and we're going to go back into that chain space with another double crochet. From here, we're going to insert a stitch in every one of these stitches here, except for the last stitch. The last stitch will receive 2 double crochets. So 1 and 1 here, and we're just going to continue inserting doubles, giving each one of these stitches an upstairs neighbor. And now here we are at the last stitch of the row. That particular stitch will receive 2 double crochets. Okay, so this is what it looks like after 4 rows. Very, very nice. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, and 8. Perfect. Okay, so we have one more row here for the starter. Okay, 5 rows of double crochets. And so from here, what we want to do is chain 2 and turn our work. And we're going to repeat that sequence. 2 double crochets, upstairs neighbor for each one of these stitches. And then we're going to go into the chain space here with a double, chain 2 and double, and then continue on. So let's go ahead and get that started. This first stitch will receive 2 double crochets, and then each one of these stitches will receive an upstairs neighbor, a double crochet for each one of these stitches. Just like that. And now once each one of these stitches have an upstairs neighbor, we're going to go into the chain space here with a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. And from here, we're going to make sure that each one of these stitches in between the chain spaces receives an upstairs neighbor. Just 1 stitch for each one of these stitches. Just like this. Okay, so now that I'm at the end here, we're going to go right into the chain space with a double, chain 2, and we're going to go back into the chain space here with a double. From here, each one of these stitches receives an upstairs neighbor, and then the last stitch receives 2 double crochets. Okay, so this last stitch receives 2 double crochets. And here is what it looks like after 5 rows. Very, very nice. Okay, friends, so now that our 5 rows are completed, our starter rows, we will now begin the 8-row repeat sequence. So to get started from here, what we need to do is chain 2 and turn our work. 1, 2, and let's turn. So the first part of our 8-row repeat sequence is front post double crochets. So to get started with that, what we need to do is go into the first stitch with 2 double crochets. So yarn over and go in and do our doubles. There's 2 of them in that same stitch. And from here, we're going to come down and around every single one of these stitches. So we're going to yarn over, come down and around the stitch, draw up a loop, and perform our double crochet per normal. Yarn over, come down and around, and perform our double crochet as normal. And we're going to continue doing this for every stitch along the side here. So continue with that, and I will meet you at the chain space. Okay, friends, so here we are at the chain space. Every stitch has a front post double in front of it. And so from here, we're going to yarn over, go right into the chain space with a double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet. From here, we're going to insert front post doubles all the way across for every stitch on this side here. We're going to yarn over, come down and around, draw up a loop, and then just perform our double as normal. Okay, so continue on with that, and I will meet you at the next chain space. Okay, friends, so here I am at the next chain space. And so we're going to do the same thing on this side that we did on this side here. So we're just going to go into that chain space with a double, chain 2, and a double. Just like that. So from here, we're going to insert front post double crochets in every single stitch until the last one. And then in the last one, we're going to do 2 double crochets. Okay, so I'll do just a few of these front posts on camera here, just like that. And then continue on with that, and I will meet you at the last stitch of the row. Okay? Okay, friends, so here we are at the last stitch of the row. And in this stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets. Just like that. So this is the back of our shawl. We see no ridges, so this is the back. And that is what we're looking like after we've completed the front post double crochets. Very, very nice. So to get started, moving forward, we're going to chain 2 and turn our work. As you can see, we have our very first ridge here. Super nice. Okay, so the second row of our 8-row repeat is the double cross. So to get started, what we need to do is insert 2 double crochets in the first stitch. So there's 1 and there's 2. So from here, we are going to skip the first stitch here after the doubles here and go into this next stitch here. So let me just grab some yarn. Okay, so we're going to skip this stitch. We're going to go to this stitch here. We're going to insert our hook and do a double crochet. Now we're going to yarn over and backtrack into that skipped stitch. Let's go in there and do a double crochet. Just like that. And we're going to continue doing that for the side. Make sure that we don't go into a stitch that we already worked out of. So we're going to yarn over, skip this stitch, and go into the following one with a double. And then yarn over and go into the skipped stitch and perform the double crochet as normal. Okay, let's move on. Yarn over, skip this stitch, go into the next stitch, double crochet. Yarn over and go into the skipped stitch and perform a double crochet, just like that. So continue doing that, and I will meet you at the very first chain space. Okay, so here we are at the chain space. At this point, you should have 5 double crosses. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so from here, what we want to do is go right into the chain space. We're going to skip this stitch and go right in here with a double crochet. And then we're going to yarn over and go into that skipped stitch and finish off that cross. So from here, what we want to do is chain 2 and then jump right into that very first stitch of the side. So yarn over, go into that first stitch, just like that. And then now what we're going to do is yarn over and go right into the chain space and perform a double crochet to finish off that cross, just like that. Okay? So from here, we're going to continue doing double crochet crosses. We're going to skip the next stitch and go into the following one with a double crochet. We're going to yarn over and go into the skipped stitch and continue doing our double cross. Okay, so continue doing double crosses and I will meet you at the next chain space. Okay friends, so I have 1 stitch remaining before I get to the chain space, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crosses across the top here. And so what we want to do is go into the chain space, yarn over, and then go into the skipped stitch to finish off our double cross here. Just like that. Okay, so from here what we want to do is chain 2, slide our work around just like that, and jump right into the first stitch with a double crochet. From here, we're going to yarn over and go into the chain space and do a double crochet. And we're going to continue doing these double crosses all the way down the side here. So yarn over and skip this stitch, go into the next one here with a double crochet. Yarn over, come back, and continue on doing the double crochet cross. So continue doing that, and I will meet you at the very end of the row here. Okay, so here I am at the end of the row. On this side here, I have 6 double crochet crosses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then in the very last stitch of the row, as always, 2 stitches. So it's going to be 2 double crochets, just like that. Let me back up the camera. There we go. And so this is what we are looking like. That's very nice. So we had the front post doubles and then now the double crochet crosses. Very, very nice. Okay. Okay, friends, so let's just quickly recap. So row 1 of our 8-row sequence is front post doubles. Row 2 of our sequence is the double crochet cross. Now, for row 3 of our sequence, it will be twins in a stitch. So to move on to the 3rd row of our sequence, we're going to chain 2 and turn our work. Okay, so from here, the very first stitch will receive 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. From here, the next door neighbor here, this next stitch, will only receive 1 double crochet. Okay? So from here, every double crochet cross will receive twins in the stitch. So what we need to do is just pull the crosses apart to reveal the gap in between the stitches. If you pull it apart, you can actually see that gap there. All right, so we're going to go into that gap with twins in a stitch, 2 double crochets. Yarn over, go in, and perform your double as usual. And then you're going to do it again in the same spot. Twins in a stitch. So from here, we're going to move on to the next double crochet cross. Pull it apart if you have to. Yarn over, go in, and do your twins in a stitch. And we're just going to continue doing that for the side here. And that's what it looks like. Okay? So continue doing this, and I will meet you at the very first chain space. Okay, friends, I'm at the first chain space, and so from here, what we want to do is 1 double crochet, chain 2, 1 double crochet, just like that. Now from here, we're going to continue doing twins in a stitch, twins inside the crosses here. Okay, again, if you have to pull those crosses apart to get to that gap, then do what you must. But we're going to yarn over, go into that cross, and do 2 double crochets. We're going to hop over here and do twins in the crosses, just like that. Okay, so continue on doing this, twins in the crosses, and then when you get to the chain space, it's going to be 1 double, chain 2, and 1 double, and then continue on. I will meet you at the end of the row right here. Okay? Okay, friends, so I am nearing the end of the row, and I have 2 stitches remaining. And so just know that whatever you do on this side, you have to do on this side for balance. So what we did on that side there is we went and did 1 double crochet by itself. And then in the last stitch, we did 2 double crochets. So that's what we're going to do here. Just like that. And let me back up the camera. And so that is what we look like after 3 rows of our 8-row sequence. Very, very nice. Okay, so row 4 of our 8-row sequence is half double crochet windows. So to get started, what we need to do is chain 2 and turn our work. So as always, the very first stitch receives 2 stitches. So we're going to do half double crochets in this very first stitch, so 2 of them. yarn over, go in, draw up a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook. You're going to yarn over and go through all 3. There's 1. We're going to do that again. There's 2. So from here, what we want to do is chain 1, skip 1, and go into the next stitch with a half double crochet. Yarn over, go in, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through all 3. And we have a window there. Chain 1, skip 1, go into the next stitch with a half double crochet. And just continue doing that. Half double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, half double crochet. And that's what we're looking like here. So continue doing that and I will meet you at the first chain space. Okay friends, so I am at the first chain space. So this is what we're looking like here. So from here what we need to do is chain 1. And then we're going to go right into the chain space with a half double crochet, chain 2, and then back into the chain space with a half double crochet. So from here, we're going to chain 1 and go right into the stitch here, this very first stitch with a half double crochet. And that is what we're looking like here. Okay, so let's chain 1, skip 1, and go into the following stitch with a half double crochet. We're going to continue making these windows down the side here. So continue doing that and I will meet you at the next chain space. Okay friends, so here I am at the next chain space. I have 1 stitch remaining. And this is what we're looking like here, just doing a close-up so you can see all the things. Okay, so from here we're going to chain 1 and we're going to go right into this chain space here. Half double, chain 2, let's swivel it around this way. We're going to go right back in with a half double into that chain space, just like that. And then we're just going to continue. We're going to chain 1 and go right into this stitch right here with a half double. Chain 1, skip 1, go into the following with a half double, just like that. So continue doing this and I will see you at the end of the row. Okay friends, so here I am at the end of the row. This is what we're looking like here. And then from here what we need to do is chain 1 and go into the last stitch here with 2 half doubles. 1 and 2. So that is what we are looking like here. Let me back up the camera. Very, very nice. Okay, so we have 4 rows of the 8-row sequence completed. Just to recap once more, we have front post doubles, double crochet crosses, twins in a stitch, and half double crochet windows. Okay, so feel free to rewind, replay as many times as you need in order for you to get this, okay? So let's move on to row number 5 of our 8-row repeat. Okay friends, so row 5 of our 8-row repeat sequence is twins in the windows. So to get started, what we need to do is chain 2 and turn our work. Now the very first stitch of the row will receive 2 double crochets in the very first stitch. These 2 chains do not count as a stitch, okay? So let's go into this first stitch with 2 double crochets. There's 1, and then there's 2. So from here, we're going to jump right into the window with 2 double crochets. There's 1, and there's 2. No chains, we're just going to jump right into the next window and do twins in the windows. This one is a very easy row here. Twins in the windows, just like that. Okay, so continue doing this, and I will see you at the very first chain space. Okay friends, so here I am approaching the very first chain space. We have twins in the windows here. So what we need to do now is jump into the chain space with 2 double crochets, so twins. And then from here we're going to chain 2 and then only put 1 double crochet in the chain space. So that's how it should look. Twins, chain 2, and 1 double. Okay? From here, you're going to jump right into the window here and do twins. And so this will repeat on this side here. So we began this side with 1 double and then twins, and then we're going to end with 1 double, chain 2, and then twins. Okay? So just to recap this corner, we went into the chain space with twins, chain 2, and then a double. And then from here, we just jumped right in to continuing on with our twins in the windows. Okay? So continue putting twins in every window, and I will meet you at the very next chain space. Okay, friends, so here I am at the next chain space. Okay, let me bring this closer so we can see the things. Okay, so as you can see here, we have just 1 stitch before going into the twins in the windows. And so over here, we're going to go into the chain space with just 1 double crochet. And then we're going to chain 2, and then swivel around, and then go back into the chain space here with twins. 2 doubles, just like that. So that's what it should look like. Let me just scooch it closer so you guys can see. So twins, chain 2, and then 1 stitch, and then 1 stitch, chain 2, and twins. Okay? So from here, we're going to continue on doing twins in the windows, down the side here, and continue on with that, and I will meet you here at the end of the row. Okay friends, so here I am approaching the end of the row here. This is what we're looking like. And so you should have 2 stitches remaining. So what we're going to do is we're going to do twins in each one of these stitches here. So 2 double crochets for that stitch, and then 2 double crochets for the last stitch of the row. And this is what we are looking like here. Let me flip this around and back up the camera. We're growing very quickly. It's very, very nice. Love that. Okay, so that is 5 rows down, 3 to go. So for row number 6, we have stacked double crosses. So to get started, what we need to do is chain 2 and turn our work. So let's go ahead and chain 2 and turn our work over, just like that. Okay. Okay, so for the stacked double crosses, what we need to do is 2 double crochets in the first stitch. So let's go ahead and do that. 2 double crochets in the first stitch. And then 1 double crochet in the next stitch here. Just like that. So from here, we're going to do a stacked double crochet cross. So we're not going to work into the heads of the stitches here. We're going to work next to the stitches down here in these open spaces. Okay? So let me just zoom the camera in a little. There we go. So from here, what we want to do is work into the far side. So we're going to yarn over and go into this space. In between the stitches, draw up a loop and perform a double crochet. And then from here, we're going to come back to the near side. We're going to yarn over and come back to the near side and drop a loop, yarn over and complete our double as normal. So it's a double crochet cross, but we're working on the sides of the stitches. So yarn over, we have a near side and we have a far side. near side, far side. So we're going to yarn over and go into the far side, do a double, and then we're going to yarn over and come to the near side here and do our double, just like that. Let's do that again. Yarn over, go into the far side with a double, and then yarn over and come to the near side and do a double, just like that. And this is what it looks like. Okay, so continue on with that, and I will see you at the very first chain space right here. Okay friends, so here I am at the first chain space, and this is what we're looking like. Stacked double crochet crosses. It looks super, super nice how it's wrapped around the twins like that. Very nice. Okay, so in the chain space, we're going to do a double, chain 2, and then a double, just like that. From here, we're going to go into that very first stitch with a double crochet, just like that. And then now we're going to continue doing stacked double crochet crosses around the twins. Okay, so we're going to yarn over, go into the far side here with a double crochet, yarn over and come to the near side here and do a double crochet. I like to think of it as hugging the twins. Say we're giving the twins hugs. So from here, we're going to yarn over, go into the far side, do a double crochet. Let me redo that. Yarn over, come to the near side here with a double crochet, just like that. Okay, so continue doing this, and I will meet you at the next chain space right here. Okay friends, so here I am at the second chain space. That was the first one on this side here. Here is the second one. And so before we get to this particular chain space, what we need to do is insert a standalone above this standalone right here. So we're going to yarn over, go into the stitch, and do another double crochet just like that. And then in the space here, what we want to do is go ahead and do a double crochet, chain 2, swivel around, and do another double crochet in the chain space. So it's looking like that. Okay? So from here, on the final side, what we want to do is continue hugging these twins. So we're going to do stacked double crochet crosses. We're going to yarn over, go into the far side, draw up a loop, perform our double, yarn over, and come to the near side and do our double, just like that. And we're just going to continue hugging these twins. Just like that. Okay, so continue with that, doing stacked double crochet crosses down and around, just like that, and I will meet you at the end of the row down here. Okay friends, so I have 2 stitches remaining in the row here, and so in the stitch before the last one, we will go ahead and do a double crochet, and then in the last stitch we're going to do 2 double crochets, just like this. Okay, let's just turn this around and zoom out. And so this is what we're looking like. We have 6 rows completed, 2 more to go. Super, super nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to row number 7, which is half double crochets. Let's go ahead and grab our work, chain 2, and turn our work over. There we go. From here, what we want to do is do 2 half double crochets in this very first stitch, just like this. And then every stitch will receive 1 half double crochet. yarn over, go in, drop a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through all 3. So we're just going to continue doing that for every stitch until we hit the chain space. So continue on with this, and I will meet you at the very first chain space. Okay friends, so here I am at the first chain space. We have half doubles. This is what we're looking like here. Very, very nice. And so in the chain space, we're doing 1 half double, chain 2, and then 1 half double, just like this. And so we're going to continue inserting half double crochets in every stitch, going right into that first stitch there, half double. We're going to continue doing half doubles for every single stitch. Okay, so continue doing that, and I shall see you at the next chain space. Okay, so here we are at the next chain space. In the chain space, it is 1 half double, chain 2, and then 1 half double, just like that. So from here, we're going to continue doing half double crochets in every stitch, just like this. And let's continue doing that, and I will see you at the end of the row. Okay friends, I'm approaching the end of the row. I have 2 stitches remaining. We're going to do a half double in the stitch before last, and then in the last stitch, we're going to do 2 half double crochets, just like that. Okay, so let me back up the camera, take a quick look at what it is that we're working with here. 7 rows in. Very, very nice. As you can see, it's not blocked or anything. This is just how it's laying. It's very nice. Okay, so let's move on to row number 8. And row number 8 is a very, very simple row. But first, let's chain 2 and turn our work. So row number 8 is the last row of our sequence, and it is double crochets. So in the very first stitch, let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. In the very first stitch there, we're going to do 2 double crochets, just like that. And then we're going to insert 1 double crochet in every single stitch until the chain space. So continue doing that, and I will meet you at the first chain space. 1 double crochet in every stitch, just like this. Continue doing that, and again I will meet you at the chain space right here. Okay friends, so here I am at the first chain space, and so in the chain space we're going to do 1 double crochet, chain 2, and then 1 double crochet, just like that. And then from here, we're just going to continue doing double crochets in every stitch until the next chain space. And then at that chain space, we're literally just going to repeat this. It's 1 double, chain 2, and 1 double. Okay? So continue doing that all the way down and around, and I will meet you at the very end of the row. Okay? Okay friends, so I am at the end of the row. I have 1 stitch remaining, and in that last stitch we're going to do 2 double crochets, just like that. And so this is what we are looking like. Let me back the camera out. Very, very nice. Okay, so we have the setup rows here, and then we have the 8 rows which will be repeated continuously until the end of the project. So once row 8 is complete, we would then hop back over to row 1, which is a front post double crochet, and just continue on with that. I will have the repeat sequence in the description box. So let me just pull out the finished shawl here to just show you guys once more what this actually looks like. And so let me zoom in Just a little bit. There we go. So we have the setup rows here, and then this is the part we just did here, and we ended here. So now it's just going to continuously repeat this sequence. Actually, let me back up a little bit. Yeah. So every repeat sequence, as you can see, has the ridges here. It's very, very, very nice. Anyway, my friends, that wraps up this tutorial. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. There's tons more tutorials. Please check out my channel for those. And so that is it for this one, my friends. Until the next one, take care. Bye.